What is up, everybody? Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Can you hear me? No issues, no issues, no problems anymore. We want to see LSU come out there just ready to kick some ass. I don't care if you feel like, oh, okay, in these gimme games, you've got to back the pedal off the gas. You can't destroy teams. You can't absolutely, bury teams into the ground. I disagree. After what we saw last week, LSU has a duty to absolutely destroy Grambling by as many points as possible. And I'm not just talking about Garrett Nussmeier getting garbage time and Jaden Daniels throwing 3 or 4 touchdowns and then walking off, thinking, okay, we looked a lot better. We looked so good. You should do that against Grambling at a minimum. That means nothing. It's how you do it, not just the volume. I want to see the intensity. I want to see us really smoke these guys tomorrow. I want to see Jaden Daniels put up 5 or 6 touchdowns in that first half. I want to see him put up 400-something yards. Really throw the damn ball, uncork it on Grambling. If you're going to hesitate against Grambling tomorrow, then we might as well make the switch right now. I also want to ask you that question. Where is your line? Where is the line for you for if you would pull Jaden Daniels for Garrett Nussmeier? Where is your line? For me, once I see that he's just completely regressing, he's not progressing, he is going to continue to regress as a quarterback in 2023. That's when I make that pull. Well, we got to see what Garrett Nussmeier has right now. Because if you're not going to give us better, then we got to see what Garrett Nussmeier has at least. Garrett Nussmeier will get snaps. That was one failing of mine yesterday was I didn't know that I had a second question I could have asked head coach Brian Kelly this last week. And I only asked him the first one about Denver Harris on the SEC teleconference. My fault. I was going to ask him, how much are we going to see of Garrett Nussmeier and how the snaps are going to be divvied up? I was going to ask that. Shocked no one else did. But we're going to ask him that. We've got our son in the background. We're going to definitely put him in the chair and let him eat for a second as well at one point. But we know he wants to kind of run around. So be advised, we're trying to do this while being a little distracted, even though we're dialed in here. Because here's the thing. This is Grambling. Okay? And a lot of people are going to go, yeah, so what? LSU beat the shit out of Grambling. So what? I don't care. Some of these guys have never had 200-yard games. Some of these guys have never gone over 100 yards at LSU. I want to see certain guys pass certain personal milestones, but I want to see the whole team play together. I want to see an entire team defense that is just ruthless, merciless, top to bottom. These DBs better shut down everything against Grambling. They better allow nothing against Grambling. Sorry, just sharing this real quick. We're going to go through 5 things we must see against Grambling tomorrow. 5 things we must see against Grambling. I want your 5. I want your final score. I want your MVPs. I want really what you're expecting, what you're hoping to see, what you want to see. Because here's the thing. There's just certain things that I'm just really wondering if Brian Kelly would ever do. And I'm wondering, I'm not someone calling for Jaden Daniels to be benched. That's not what this is. What I'm saying is I wonder if there's a line where he would actually bench Jaden Daniels, because I'm starting to wonder if there actually is, because he seems to really be like he's the quarterback no matter what. And that kind of worries me when you've got a second starter like Garrett Nuss, who's really done a lot to stay at LSU, done a lot to secure LSU's quarterback spot. So you've got a guy who's that loyal, loves the state of Louisiana, from the state of Louisiana. Um, Feels like this is the place for him. Years where him and his family were just constantly moving because of his father's NFL and coaching jobs, coaching in college as well. Um, he wanted stability finally, and so you got this guy here. He's bought in. I'm sorry, but it's kind of weird how the media pumped Jaden Daniels up like crazy throughout fall camp, and he was throwing the ball really nice, throwing the ball really well at times. But you had a guy like Garrett Nussmeier who's absolutely making ridiculous throws in fall camp, spinning out of pressure, making this crazy drop it in the bucket throw on a dime right into the breadbasket of Brian Thomas Jr. On a streaking run down the sideline, or Malik Neighbors or Chris Hilton Jr. Shelton Sampson. He was hitting everybody. Kamorion Pimpton with the fade routes. I mean, the guys that LSU might have to rely upon, who actually has the better chemistry with them, Jaden Daniels or Garrett Nussmeier? I'm saying, like, just stop being so political about these quarterbacks and ask yourself, who is the best quarterback for this team? And right or wrong, post in the comments. Tell me, give us your argument, because I'm not saying one or the other is the guy right now. I think this is a great game to see who's going to be that guy. Sorry, Sage is doing his little toy. Oh my god, that fucking toy. So I'm just thinking, like, how long do you play Jaden Daniels in this game? How long do you play Garrett Nussmeier? That's a big issue. That's a big, interesting point of intrigue for this game. Sorry, just sharing this real quick, and then we're going to get into it. Like and share like crazy. I mean, we never ask that type of stuff, but get people in here. If you know they're into LSU, whether they love, hate our content, just get them in here. We don't care. Like, we just want to hear their opinion, and just we'll banter and we'll have a good time. It'll be awesome. 5 things I really just feel that we have to see against Grambling. For me, it starts with the quarterbacks, just because this is a game where the quarterbacks can really get some success going, and you want to find out who's that guy right now. I think quarterback isn't your biggest issue, but you look at a lot of the issues that you saw on Saturday night, and they do stem from the quarterback. So, I mean, and they just stem from the offense. They stem from the wrong reads being made. So let's put every position under the spotlight, under the microscope, and see what happens. Because you never know. You just absolutely never know with LSU, with college football. That roster is so damn deep, as you and I know. And we've always been surprised every single season, because the season never works out like it's drawn up in preseason on paper. It's never works out like that. You and I know that. Yeah, so you got to go with 5's got to be quarterbacks. You want to see efficiency from the quarterbacks. You want to see them put up a lot of yards, both of them. But I mean, I want to see Jaden Daniels making the right reads. I want to see Jaden Daniels taking advantage of this chance to absolutely destroy and burn some teams. I want to see him take advantage of this chance. You know, you're not going to get you're going to get many chances this season, this game, and I think the Georgia State game to really just put up crazy, animalistic numbers on a team. This is that opportunity for Jaden Daniels. I mean, I think he's going to put up some crazy numbers this season. But this is a chance to really give that establishment and that platform. I mean, Jaden Daniels put up over 400 yards combined last week against Florida State in what they were putting him through. Basically ran for almost, I think it was 85 yards if you take off the sack yardage. So Jaden Daniels, for the most part, had a successful week one. The problem is you take away, some of the big plays. What do we have? We have an ineffective offense, 3 of 11 on third down. Jaden Daniels was torrid on third down. There were some real big concerns that you saw about the secondary. Huge, glaring concerns. You saw an offensive line that shocked us with how they were able to be pushed back with ease. How they were able to be almost like destroyed, just get their ass kicked at times. We were not able to establish the running game whatsoever. Outside of Jaden Daniels and Josh Williams, one big play, we had I think it was 14 carries for 11 yards, something like that. So, or it might be 11 carries for 14 yards. But the point is, nothing. And this is a team we heard all offseason, especially just recently, that the identity of this team was the offensive line, running it down people's throat. Well, maybe from what I've seen, we're just not getting that offensive line moving enough. That offensive line just looks static, just one-on-one blocking. They're not pulling. We're not deceiving anyone. I mean, it would be really easy to block against. I mean, try and press against that defense. That defensive. Against that, it'd be very easy for any defensive front to press against that offensive line, just being static as hell. Even if it's Will Camp. Even if it's Emory Jones. But from what we're hearing, it's going to be, after Miles Frazier telling them, you guys are all good and stuff like that, and getting absolutely destroyed in the media, probably by the team as well, probably by the head coach. We're just speculating. We don't know that for a fact, but Miles Frazier saying, you guys are good to Florida State, and then the player revealing that to the media, it coupled with his terrible performance, Miles Frazier, after, basically starting for a whole season, going into this year as well, he's gone. He is on the bench, and you're probably going to be seeing Lance Hurd at right tackle, Emory Jones at right guard. That is just what we're hearing. But Brian Kelly said they're going to play significant reps. I would not be shocked if they started this game in that way and just let it ride for that game. Just see what happens. See what type of team you are. See what you get. So you're going to have that big change already. How does that affect the quarterbacks? How does that affect who's going to play the most? Who's played with Lance Hurd the most? Garrett Nussmeier. But guess what? They've also had Lance Hurd playing with the ones, playing at right tackle, kicking in Emory Jones to the left. To the left of Lance at right guard. And they've gone with that. So they wanted to try Miles Frazier, try and get the same 5 as last year. But putting Emory Jones at right tackle again, maybe expose some things about his game, because it's not his natural position. As versatile as he is, as amazing as he is, and as well as he played, they're thinking maybe let's just get Lance Hurd, a natural tackle, out there on the edge, kick Emory Jones inside, and just go for it that way. Once We have a comment from Jamer, I just want our quarterback to throw some bombs and our receivers catching them. I don't care who the player is that makes these plays, just do it. Yeah, I mean, here's the thing. This is Grambling. We're talking about quarterbacks right now, so let's get into it. This is Grambling. If you're not going to throw the damn ball, if you're going to be hesitant to throw the ball against Grambling's defensive backs with our receivers out there, then I don't want you on the field. We can't afford to have you throwing the football playing quarterback for LSU because simply there are times that Jaden Daniels just was too afraid to take a hit and stand in the pocket and make the throw. Let's just be real here. He knows my escapability, my elusiveness, my speed, my shiftiness with my legs, my moves. I can get away from this pressure. Let's go. Let's get away from this pressure. We don't have to take this hit. Problem is, taking the hit actually allows you to get the throw off. And what happens when you actually get the throws off to LSU skill position players? They are always like running backs after the catch. Even a guy like Mason Taylor, people are just bouncing off him. He's just bulldozing people, left, right, and center. He was another big-time positive from game one. It's just he only put up like 36 yards or something, got the ball like 3 times. So have to give him the ball more. Have to find out more what he has done to hit that second level for him in his game and his development. But all of this starts with the quarterbacks. And, making that change up front with the offensive line is going to help out a lot. I think Miles Frazier gave up a ton, and it looked bad on Emory Jones. It looked bad on Will Campbell, but I think most of it came from Miles Frazier blowing protections. And also the way we set up the offensive line, being so static, open to getting just destroyed by any defensive front because there's no pulling movements. There's no guys moving from left to right post snap. There's nothing like that. It's just straight up mano a mano blocking, and that is easy to scheme. Once you see that, and they're not going to change, John. Okay, all right, call up some blitzes. Hell yeah, you got me. You got it. And then, all right, Savion, blitz. All right, I got you, coach. He's, destroying the guy. So that's the thing is it's just like LSU has got to start showing some movements pre-snap on offense, post-snap offensive line that actually confuse and deceive a defense. That's number one. We're talking about the quarterbacks, what we want to see from the quarterbacks, and all of this is a must. I want to see Jaden Daniels actually changing plays at the line of scrimmage. This is against Grambling. This is the time to practice this shit. And if you don't have it in you to even just practice this stuff against Grambling in game, we can't even get that. Then I feel like we're also doing a disservice to Garrett Nussmeier by not even playing him a lot this game. So really you're playing 2 quarterbacks half as much in a game, and you're getting like half as much from it for them. I just feel like you're really minimizing the impact of this game by not playing Jaden Daniels 3 quarters out of the 4 or Garrett Nussmeier 3 quarters out of the 4. Whoever you're going with, obviously it's going to be Jaden Daniels. We know that. So play Jaden Daniels 3 out of 4 quarters against Grambling. And if he walks off that field with 170 yards passing, 1 touchdown, 60, 50% completion rating, I'm telling you, that's my line. I feel like if Jaden Daniels can put it all together offensively, leading this team, instead of being so casual and chill and cool and protecting his legs in different situations with his running, instead of actually taking a hit in the pocket, leading the team instead of being all chill and cool and suave in the background, like, bro, if you're too cool to lead this team, we need Garrett Nussmeier more than I could even know. More than someone like Matt Mascana, who's very pro Jaden Daniels, could ever know. And you're seeing it from people who actually are real about the game and honest with themselves. instead of being very political about the quarterbacks. There's been a shift because you expected to see Jaden Daniels hit that next level, hit that next stride in year 2. I know it's only one game. I know Florida State are damn good. And I know the receivers did not help him either. But look at the pass to Brian Thomas Jr. and tell me that Brian Thomas Jr. is not absolutely screwed by that terrible throw by Jaden Daniels either. That throw literally forces Brian Thomas to stop, contort. Like, I don't know how you can track a football properly in the air against a battling corner safety and have these extremely unpredictable wobbly passes coming towards you. And then to hear that it was on you and you're just like, what the am I supposed to do? And you got Cortez Hankton, a close-up of him going, and it's like, if you're a receivers coach, you should know more than anybody. That was not on Brian Thomas Jr. That's on Jaden Daniels, that throw. The Kyron Lacey ones, the 2 drops there, I know people are saying he has 3 or 4. He just had 2. The 2 Kyron Lacey dropped were huge plays, both on 3rd down, but they were perfect passes, all on Lacey. The Brian Thomas Jr. drop, the one that's been really big and on Brian Thomas Jr., the dude almost had 150 yards, was one of our biggest shining lights of the game. And instead, he had to hold his head down because he has everyone saying he dropped this pass that was impossible, really, to catch in the situation. The pass literally was so underthrown, it threw him right into a DB. Literally, the DB blocks his line of sight at the last second, and he drops it. You gotta, try playing this game yourselves. It's a lot tougher than it looks. I know it's catch the damn ball. You're trying to be paid this much to play in the NFL. Catch the fucking ball. I get it, and I feel that same way too. He's trying to come over here. Let's put him in the seat and let him eat. So I put him up there, and he just proceeded to just spill all this stuff all over the place, all this food. It's like, are you kidding me? What's the point of this, dude? What is the point? So, the whole passing thing, the quarterback thing, there's a lot of people go immediately, I know everyone's gonna go blame Jaden Daniels, but don't you dare blame Jaden Daniels. Like, the second the game ended, people hadn't even gone in on Jaden Daniels. But I was as fair as anyone to Jaden Daniels after that game, post game. But how could you not go in on him for the first drive as well? Another play where he should have just thrown it to Brian Thomas Jr. and instead hesitated and got blown the shit up and allowed a sack on a 4th and goal. These were huge plays in this game. We lost this game in the first half, not even the second half. We just set the second half up to even occur. with our missed opportunities and failings of that first half. So against Grambling, I want to see us be ruthless, merciless. I want to see us score fast, quick. I want to see us create turnovers on defense. And number 2 on the list for the 5 things we must see, first one was quarterbacks. Number 2, I want to see a defense that really plays with passion, really plays with intensity, energy. I want to see Harold Perkins in the right place. I mean, this might even technically should be number 1 on the list. That's how important it also is, because Jordan Travis basically didn't have to play against Harold Perkins twice. We gave Jordan Travis 2 games against us without having to face Harold Perkins, the real Harold Perkins, for 1 defensive snap. I can't even believe that happened. I can't even believe that has happened. But it did. We just have to pretend this Florida State game just did not happen, just move forward, because it was so fucking bad, so gross. So the stench, you cannot let it linger. You cannot let it linger. Sorry, I had to do it. You cannot let it linger. You have to destroy the stench from this game. Destroying Grambling isn't going to do it. Beating Mississippi State in the locker room, that might do it. And so this game is about getting ready for Mississippi State. But if you fool around with this game and you're not ready for this game, Grambling might beat you too. If you quit like you did against Florida State, Grambling might beat you. I don't give a shit if it's an HBCU. Anyone can beat anyone on a football field if the other team has no heart, no soul, no anything into it. So I want to see that defensive passion. I want to see big time hits. I want to see people getting lit the fuck up. Blown up. I want to see LSU Tiger type hits. That's right, Sage. Boom. I want to see big time. We didn't see it in the first game outside of some hits from Mekhi Wingo and Braden Swinson. Nothing. I want to see Greg Brooks Jr. on some blitzes. I want to see guys actually tackling, actually wrapping up. My God. And we were bailed out with some drops too. Just think about some of the drops that Johnny Wilson had. Some big plays that he dropped. So, like, I want to see the LSU secondary create turnovers. I want to see defensive passion across the board. I want to see Harold Perkins in the right goddamn spot, which means all over the place. Line them up in the middle on the first play of the game, right at middle linebacker, and just get everybody like, oh my God, they're going to do it. They're going to keep doing this stuff. Oh my God, no. And the second the ball is snapped, he is literally gone all the way to the edge, and you've literally got Omar Spates there in the middle, and you've pulled Ovi, because you know Brian Kelly will start Ovi Agufu over Braden Swinson again, even though we should start Braden Swinson, and pull those two from the edge all on the inside and have them rushing the A-gaps while Perkins is rushing the A-gaps. Bring the safeties up for that intermediary coverage. See what happens. Because I don't think Grambling quarterback is going to be able to make a big, quick step drop and then be able to make throw a bomb right over the top of that defense in time before Mason Smith, Harold Perkins, Omar Spates, and all these guys are coming for him. Not going to happen. So really, number 1, we want to see the quarterbacks looking good. We want to see some type of identity and some type of choice, some type of strong direction for the rest of the season made in this game as far as LSU's quarterback. And number 2, defensive passion, turnovers, accountability, right guys in the right place. And that all starts with putting Harold Perkins where he can attack the football, which means usually off the edge Sometimes it's from the inside, but oftentimes it's from the edge or right off tackle, inside tackle. It doesn't have to be one special certain way. We've seen him go through the middle for his sacks, but it's what you create to allow him to get through the middle that is the most key to all of this. And it's something that everybody sleeps on, is we've got to have certain guys blowing up certain protections in this way or that way to let Perkins blitz through those A gaps. Or he's going to get doubled up and bodied by these huge guards like we saw this last week. And, I mean, my God, if Matt House lines up with Harold Perkins at middle linebacker, spectator middle linebacker, and basically just watches the whole game again, even though it's just Grambling, but if we see that for a second week, you might as well fire the man. Like, I'm not even kidding. Like, I love Matt House. I love the defense. You cannot do that to this team again. Like, you cannot do that to this team again. I mean, Jordy Collado would probably have like a stroke if that happened. Number 3 for me has got to be five things we must see. We got to see great play from the quarterback. We got to see the defense stepping it up. We got to see the defense having some type of soul. But also we want to see Harold Perkins going crazy. Number 3, Mason Smith playing football again. Not playing against Florida State, not playing on the biggest stage, not doing, having 6 sacks, playing football again. We've also heard from, the suspension. Now we know what we've been putting out there for the last month and a half, that on LSUODYSSEY.com, that Mason Smith was banged up. We told you all that. And then everyone said, no, he's just suspended. You're lying. You made that up. He wasn't hurt. Turns out it was both. Turns out we were pretty right on our reporting there again. Huh, buddy? Yes. Yep. And his ankle's going to limit him to like 30 snaps. He may have needed to sit out Florida State anyway. That's what's insane. Got to get him out of this chair. Don't worry, I'll get you. You literally knocked all of your food off this thing. What in God's name? Rivers move. Then I got this dog trying to eat everything. Mason Smith has missed, I believe, 20 games now in his LSU career. He missed 15 last year, missed 4 in 2021, and now 1 this season. He has missed 20 games in his LSU career. Mason Smith has missed 20 games he possibly could have appeared in his LSU career. That makes you sick, doesn't it? This was a dude who was starting as a freshman, not right out of the gate, but after the McNeese game, he was pretty much more or less a starter, strong rotational player. He has an injury, a shoulder injury, I believe, at the back end of 2021 against Ole Miss. Has to miss the Alabama game, which was an amazing defensive performance that he could have been a part of. Could have helped swing that game LSU's way in a very narrow 14-21 loss, where we only allowed 6 rushing yards, historic numbers. Mason Smith misses that. 20 appearances Mason Smith could have had in his LSU career that were gone because of the shoulder injury in 2021 and then the torn ACL last year in game 1, drive 1 or drive 2. Unbelievable that you could, no matter what happens this season, no matter if Mason Smith wins all these crazy awards, If he becomes the best defensive lineman in America, is like a top 10 pick, LSU win a national championship, go undefeated from here on out. No matter what crazy heights Mason Smith could reach this season, even if he gets 20 sacks this season, he will always be a what if in LSU history. Mason Smith seriously could get 20 sacks this season and break LSU's all-time sack record, and still people would say, "Wow, he only needed basically a little over a season and a few games, a season and a half basically, to beat LSU's all-time sack record." Just imagine what he would have done if he had been able to play his full LSU career. That's the type of shit you will always hear about Mason Smith, and it sucks because he's such a damn good player, such an unbelievable specimen, and I wonder what will happen for him in the NFL at the NFL level, because he's a special dude. Rydell Melancone has the record for sacks at LSU with 25, which he accomplished in 1980, 1981, 1982, and 1983. Ron Sancho is number 2 with 23 sacks. Gabe Northern, 21. Arden Key, 21. Both tied at number 3. Where would Mason Smith rank on that? Let's check Mason Smith's total stats. I believe he has 4.5 in his career. And all from, that first season. He has 4 sacks from that first season. Yep. So say Mason Smith somehow got 21 sacks this season. It would be thought of as, of course, I know that's a ridiculous thing to say, isn't it, Sage? It's a crazy thing to say, huh? It literally is. But Mason Smith is the type of talent who could do it, actually. And in a season next to Mekhi Wingo, I know it's insane. Jacobian Guillory, Braden Swinson coming on, maybe Savion Jones if they actually use Quincy Wiggins. You never know. Maybe this is the season Mason could do that. I'm just trying to exaggerate the point I'm trying to make. Even if he got 21 sacks this season, you would still say, "Oh my God!" Just imagine how many he would have if he had been able to play a full LSU career, and that's a damn shame. Mason Smith missing 20 games in his LSU career, 20 games, and so this is a game that is about getting back to being Mason Smith. You want to see him get at least 2.5 sacks. I'm fine with 1. Just get 1 big guy, get back in that groove, get a few pressures, get a few quarterback hits, a few tackles, bat a pass, stuff the staff sheet. Stuff the stat sheet in 30 snaps if that's what it's going to be. Load it up. Get that confidence back, get it grooving. But we need you, big dude. We need you up front. Mekhi Wingo needs you. Mekhi Wingo had to play 66 snaps against Florida State. Just basically the same type of stuff he was doing last year, where he has to be run into the ground. Imagine how effective Mekhi Wingo would have been if he'd only had to play, say, 50, 51, 48. And he had Jacobian Guillory out there with Mason Smith. Just imagine what a little bit of rest would do for someone like Mekhi Wingo. Be imperious. Don't forget, he's coming off of a torn labrum surgery. He's out there. He's fit. He's firing. He's destroying people. Mekhi Wingo looks like a first-round draft pick. And so Mason Smith, Mekhi Wingo, we have wanted to see that tandem all offseason. I want to see that tandem the last year and a half, but no one else but us was talking about Mekhi Wingo in the offseason before the 2022 kickoff. You all know that. We did 2 interviews with Mekhi Wingo before the season even kicked off. Both interviews, we gave him a lot of praise. He was an all-SEC freshman already. He already had a pick 6 at Mizzou. He was coming to LSU as a talent. You guys just didn't know he was a super talent. We did. Mekhi Wingo can prove that to you. Mekhi Wingo will tell you himself. We told him he'd be an All-American in 2022. He was. Just a little secret. So sometimes we're right on this stuff. Crazy. Who knew? Who would have known? I know 2 people left because I was kissing my own ass. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I need to be more humble. I should be fake humble because that's what people do. They're fake humble. Well, I'm real. If I'm cocky at one moment, I'm real. If I'm gonna kick myself in the ass, whatever. I'm gonna tell you how I feel exactly. We're not gonna edit anything. We're not gonna censor anything. The site has a lot of great professional writing. This is not where you see that. This is where you see it all ranted and let loose, thrown at the wall in the craziest fashions possible. We will get better at how we deliver this. I promise you. Thank you for coming along with this ride, though, because it's awesome. I love doing this. And, you know, we want to see Harold Perkins in the right spot. We want to see that defensive passion. We want to see the tackling against Grambling State. We want to see the great quarterback play against Grambling State. We want to see the quarterbacks uncork it, put up a ton of yards. We want to see the receivers. How do I put this? Number 4, we want to see our receivers and the quarterback commuting at a high level, but also just the right receivers put out there. So I'm just going to put receivers. So you want to see the right guys out there. We've heard Chris Hilton Jr. is going to be getting a lot of snaps, and Brian Kelly was saying he deserved more snaps against Florida State. Okay. Then why the fuck didn't you play him? If you felt like he deserved more snaps, you're the head coach. You look at Cortez Hankton and say, what the hell do you do? What the hell are you doing having Kyron Lacey still out there? Get Mr. Butterfinger BBs off the field before he ruins another 3rd down and costs us another drive, which then tires our defense out to a ridiculous state, and put this guy back in. Chris Hilton Jr. deserves an opportunity, and so does a guy like Jalen Brown, Shelton Sampson Jr., Mac Markway barely got any playing time at tight end. Kamorian Pipton wasn't even on the roster. Jalen Brown wasn't even on the fucking roster. Quincy Wiggins wasn't even on the roster. Allowed to dress, not even on the roster. Let me double check that. Shoot, he's about to spill the dog's bowls. Get water everywhere. Savy. Good Savy, good Savy. Don't worry, buddy. We'll be done in a sec. I know it's Grambling. A lot of people are just going to watch the Texas-Alabama game instead. We're not like that. We're going to be watching LSU Grambling. We might even live stream it tomorrow while we're watching the game. So if you don't have access to watching the game, watch this live stream because you're going to get little bits and pieces of footage included in there, as much as we're able to get away with. Is Zy Alexander going to be replaced at corner? What are we going to do there? That's another thing. Like, the receivers are one thing, and I think they'll figure it out as long as the quarterback is the right quarterback is in there. I feel like that's a big thing to do with them as well. Like, the drops are bad, the misreads, the timing, but sometimes we're just not calling the right plays at all. We just don't have the right formation set up. We're doing everything way too narrow instead of spreading it out. We're not even maximizing Jaden Daniels whatsoever. But the receivers are one thing. I mean, we're going to get that figured out. I want to see it happen this week, though. But, really of a more pressing nature. And I just kind of stumbled into it saying it real quick before I kind of corrected myself. But really, how in God's name are you going to structure the DBs for the future here? Who are going to be your corners? Who are going to be your safeties? Who's going to be your nickel? What are we going to do here? How are we going to solve this puzzle? Grambling is going to have a lot to do it because we're going to play an offense, and Mississippi State throws the ball 50 plus times a game. Will Rogers has thrown it for over 104 times in just the last 2 appearances against us. Do not be mistaken. That man will throw for over 40 attempts against us in week 3. How many touchdowns is he going to throw on us? I mean, like, that's what I'm worried about is everyone's thinking, well, we're not going to be talked about until we beat Alabama. Beat Alabama, beat, Auburn, beat Florida, Seiji? Beat A&M. We're worried about beating Mississippi State, beating Grambling. And that's what I think is going to lead to this team being eventually great if they do become great, is because they're going to have to take it one game at a time. And now it's a roller coaster for us fans because we're not looking ahead one game. We're not thinking about, well, I can't wait till we beat Alabama. We're 7-0, we're 6-0. This is so easy. This is what it's about here. If LSU are going to be a great team, they're going to have to prove it game in, game out. And we're going to be there, buckled up, strapped in, because that's the only way through the fires of hell, through the SEC. The world's craziest gauntlet, the final season for the worst, the most competitive, the most intense division in American sports, in probably sports history, the SEC West. There will be no more SEC West after this season. Is this the way LSU finish out their SEC West career, their time in the SEC West as champions? Because I hope to God we do. You have no idea how much that would hurt Nick Saban in Alabama for us to finish as SEC West champions. It would hurt Arkansas. It would hurt Auburn. It would hurt Ole Miss. It hurt all of these teams. It hurt Mississippi State. These teams who've never even touched the SEC West. Texas A&M especially. So you've got to do it. Whatever happens this season, you need to win the SEC West again. And it's more than possible. I mean, in fact, if LSU don't win a national championship this season, it's a big lost opportunity that history will show us. Like, history will point to 2023 as like, yeah, Kelly, before his time was up at LSU, he won 1 or 2 or whatever. He should have won that one in 2023 when, his team was kind of uncertain. It was kind of in a weird spot, but everyone was weak, and it was ripe for the taking. Joe Milton looks good. He doesn't look good enough to beat everybody on the planet. He's not a world beater. Might be given like a cheap Heisman or something one of those years, but it's a year where LSU don't have much in their way, except for themselves, except for their own shitty coaching, except for their own conservative play calling, except for their own injuries, absences, mental weaknesses, like we saw this last game. So many people were saying, "Oh, don't! How dare you accuse LSU of quitting? Our players didn't give up in that game against Florida State. We didn't give up. How dare you say they quit?" You don't think that game was quitting? You don't think LSU quit? You don't have to take it from my word. Ask Jacob Hester if they quit. Ask T-Bob Hebert if they quit. Ask Craig Steltz if they quit. Better yet, ask the players in that locker room themselves if they quit. They'll tell you. And we can't see that again. We can't afford to see that again, because if we see that again, we will lose the second game of the season, and we'll possibly lose 5 games this year if we start doing that type of stuff again. You see what we witnessed in week 1 again, LSU will have a terrible season. A season that you will want to end immediately. And that's what I hate to see. This fan base has become so down on this team so quick. And I get it. That was the worst season opener. That was the worst way for it to happen, and that was probably the worst one of all 4 games. Four straight home openers. Or, sorry, not home openers. 4 straight openers that we've lost. That was probably the worst. The most buildup, the most excitement, the best team, and you do that. But let's also keep in perspective, we were playing the best team of those 4 that we were facing. It was we needed a week 0 team with this team this season. We needed a week 0 game. We it was screaming for a week 0 game this year. Especially this type of team. Young, sprinkled veterans here or there, but really, really young. You absolutely need that tune-up game, and you're gonna have it in week 2 after you've already lost. Sage, what's going on? He couldn't get his ball. His ball is stuck. Had to get his ball for him. And so, I just feel like this is a team that absolutely has to show me those 5 things. But really, it's not just like the words on the screen. There's so much to it. The quarterback, that means an offense that's not so conservative. It actually lets the quarterback shine. Actually lets, if it's Jaden Daniels, lets him really dictate things, dictate terms to teams with his legs. What does that mean? That means spreading teams out. If you look at those stupid red zone plays, we'd have everyone spread out perfectly. Mason Taylor out wide too, and then bring him in line, which literally brought the formation narrow, and then literally ran it narrow right into the guy that we just brought into the formation with the motion. Like, our pre-snap motions were terrible when the rare times we did them. They were so easy to dissect and to see coming. Like, yep, they're gonna pull him in, and then okay, all right, they're gonna do that. Perfect. Blow it up. Literally take the game plan from that first game and just douse it and burn that thing down. Burn that thing down. We don't want to see that shit again. Yep, there's no action going on in the comments right now, so we're gonna be taking off. I mean, at this point, we're almost doing this for ourselves. I mean, like we've always done this for ourselves anyway. We've always done this for what we get out of it. But then we've really wanted to go the extra mile so that you guys enjoy this shit, so that you guys get something awesome. And I get it. We could make a more entertaining show. We could make a show that was more worth your time. As you can see, we have our hands a bit full. We're trying our best. We're trying to get to that level. So thank you for supporting the 3 people who've been watching this entire time. I appreciate it. Thank you so much. And probably won't be doing too many of these for the rest of the season if it's we're basically us talking to a wall, because it's kind of sad, kind of pathetic. But I guess that's something that we'll just have to keep doing, because we're kind of sad and pathetic as it is. So we'll be talking to that wall, and if you are on the other side, by chance you may hear it, check it out. Check it out. Yeah. LSU Grambling. So many people. I mean, if you're an LSU fan and you're going to be watching, Texas, Alabama. I mean, I guess I can't take a shot at you, but I'm still going to. Go to hell, man. I know it's LSU Grambling. I don't care. I'm going to be watching, because I want to see what this game, the implications of this game is on Mississippi State. Every game here matters. Every snap here matters. We're under a microscope. Brian Kelly's every move is going to be under a microscope. If Kyron Lacey is starting in this game over Chris Hilton, people are going to lose it. If Harold Perkins is at middle linebacker again, people are going to lose it. If Jaden Daniels plays 2 quarters, a half a quarter, and 3 touchdowns, and then goes off the field and is still going to be the starter for Mississippi State, people are going to lose it. Because I'm telling you, we have to tune everything up right now. Quick, fast, furious. Get this shit going. Get it turned around. Or LSU could seriously regress in year 2 under Brian Kelly, which we have been telling you all offseason is a possibility. I know. We predicted they would win the national title too. We drank the Kool-Aid as well. We also said do not be surprised, because we would not be, if LSU lost 2 games within their first 5. That was how difficult the schedule was. That is how crazy everything can be in college football. We said that multiple times. Anyone who watches us knows we did. So if you don't fix these 5 things against Grambling, which is a rare opportunity where you're going to have a walkover opponent to do it against. If you cannot walk over this team, but not only walk over them, but dominate them, show of force, a vulgar display of power. If you can't do that, if I don't see that dog in the DBs, if I don't see that dog in the receivers, if I don't see that dog at quarterback, if I don't see that defensive passion from fucking all 11 of you, the whole bench, all of them, and if I see Harold Perkins at middle, spectator linebacker, gonna lose it. We have to see Mason Smith playing football again. It is so fucking imperative to see that guy on the line of scrimmage, dictating terms, dominating. He has missed 20 games in his LSU career. That is just a joke. The term make up for lost time doesn't even equate to what he's lost. And I hate to say that, because it's sad. It's sad to think about that. And you don't want to be down on what could be possible this season, but it's just the truth. Those 2 injuries really cost him, and it's not anything he did, because you can't control some of this shit. An ACL from jumping up in the air celebrating, it's almost unthinkable in its tragedy. This is a dude who had a 3-sack game as a freshman. He had a sack trick as a freshman on Coach O's son. So you want to see all 5 of these things, because they intertwine with each other. Your defense is awesome. It helps out your offense. Your offense is awesome. It helps your defense stay fresh. You know when to drive methodically and chew up some clock. You know when to really burn them and get some points on the board. Strategically, LSU've got to clean up some shit too. Why the hell are we still receiving kickoffs all the time? Dead ball timeouts. The dead ball timeouts. if I counted how many dead ball timeouts there have been in the 16 Brian Kelly games, I bet there's probably been 13, 14, maybe even more, because it's been an epidemic for us. So, this is a great symbol of like my life right now. Literally, this fatherhood is completely in my career way, isn't it? Yes. Yes. No, you're not in the way, buddy. It's just your toy is, huh? Oh, Sagey. I'm going to predict LSU are going to beat Grambling. What was our? Well, let's look at what our score was in the preview. Predictions article. The predictions article already looks bad. We predicted LSU to win big over Florida State by 11, and we all saw how that worked. What did we pick for Grambling? We predicted 62-6. We predicted Nussmeier finishes the game with a bang. JD5 rushes for 2 touchdowns and throws another 2. Nuss takes over just before halftime and throws for 223 and 3 touchdowns. We predict Shelton Sampson, Mac Markway, and Kamorion Pimpton all scoring touchdowns. We predict 2.5 sacks for Mason Smith, one of which he has a forced fumble as well. 3.5 TFLs, 6 pressures, 5 tackles. Just messed with him. And really, the running game. Can LSU get some type of fucking running game going? We have 900 billion running backs back there. You think we might probably running a sweatshop of running backs? Like, my God, how many people are here? What is going on? How many literally, how many scholarships running backs do we have? It's a joke. Use them. Use them to the best of their abilities. That is expert analysis, Sage. That is very astute analysis from my co-host, my own son, kicking my ass and taking my name, Sage. Well, everybody, we will predict a 62-6 LSU win over Grambling. We've got Mason Smith with 2.5 sacks, 3.5 TFLs, and a forced fumble. We predict Shelton Sampson, Mac Markway, Kamorion Pimpton scoring touchdowns. We predict Malik Neighbors having 2 first-half touchdowns. Garrett Nussmeier tossing for 223 yards and 3 scores. Jaden Daniels rushing for 2 touchdowns and throwing for another 2. We'd like to just see that be 4 passing touchdowns at this point. But this is, keep in mind, we made this prediction when we thought LSU were going to beat Florida State. This prediction article came out the week before the season began. But we're still going to ride with most of those predictions there. Pretty much all of them. We're going to ride with them. Kamorion Pimpton scores. Shelton Sampson, Mac Markway all score. Malik Neighbors, 2 touchdowns. Nuss goes off. Jaden Daniels goes off as well. Hopefully, it sucks because you want to see both quarterbacks go out and play a good portion. But I'm sorry, if Jaden Daniels is the guy, if he's the guy for this future, for this team, you've got to find out. You've got to let him play almost the entire game. I know that sounds crazy, but I'm sorry. You've got to use this game effectively. Jaden Daniels throwing for 500 yards against Grambling and rushing for another 100 would absolutely do his confidence a world of good, would it not? Well, guess what is there as an opportunity for him to do? Oh, I get it. I get it. We need to get better at these. That's why people don't watch this. We need to get better at these things. We need to make them action packed. We need to have Jean-Claude Van Damme hanging from the ceiling, like coming down with an Uzi. We need to have Heath Ledger as the Joker coming in here. Frank Ribery dribbling and right over my face. We need to have things happening. We need to have Lou Reed in the background playing guitar. We need to have Mead going. Screwing up that riff live. $62 to 6. That sounds like 90s pop punk, doesn't it? Well, it is a Fender Squier Mustang, so of course it does. I know it's out of tune, and it's rock and roll when it's out of tune. I'm not going to be some prissy, like, we got to tune everything. Like, no. Oh shit, you're still here? Oh my god. I thought I ended the stream. My bad, I've just been soloing away on this guitar. I thought I ended the stream. What am I doing? What am I doing? I thought I ended the stream.